Wars are always full of unknowns. When these unknowns are made known, many events can change radically. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the big unknown was whether Ukraine could succeed this war. But this conundrum has been resolved. The Ukrainian army is on the fast track to liberate its territory. According to the latest report, the counteroffensive launched by the Ukrainian army this summer continues in at least 6 sectors of the front line. There is a relentless struggle between Ukrainian troops and Russian troops. So what is the latest situation? Let's take a look together on the map. In order not to miss the Pioneer's map analysis and daily reports, you can subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. You can also like our videos to help them reach more people. The Pioneer reports. Let's start today's report with a look at the latest developments on the Zaporizhia front line. The comprehensive counteroffensive by Ukrainian troops in full swing on the Zaporizhia front line. According to local sources in the region, the Ukrainian army has managed to make limited territorial gains during its latest offensive. Let's first look at the developments in Vasilivka direction. Vergov, the occupation governor appointed by Russia to the region, made statements on Telegram and announced that the city was under heavy artillery shelling. As you can see on the map, Vasilivka is located in the westernmost part of the Zaporizhia front line and the north of Dnieper River. We know that the Ukrainian army is working hard to capture this area. Further east, Pityakhatki was liberated by Ukrainian army, as you know. Ukrainian troops are continuing their advance south of Pityakhatki. According to the latest information, we can say that the Ukrainian armed forces have taken positions in the forested areas in the southeast of the region. The advance of the Ukrainian troops continues around Zelenka. Another striking point on the same front line is Orikhiv region. Here, too, the offensive of the Ukrainian army continues unabated. According to the latest information, the Russian army carried out a series of attacks on the position of the Ukrainian army around Orikhiv. However, the Ukrainian army, which established a durable defense line in the region, easily repelled these attacks of the Russian army. After these attacks, the Ukrainian army launched retaliatory attacks against the Russian troops. It is reported that an advance of about 10 kilometers in the direction of Robotyne has been achieved since the first day of the counterattack. There is a consensus between Ukrainian and Russian sources about Robotyne. According to both sources, the fighting has largely reached the outskirts of Robotyne. We do not have any data on the status of Russian fortifications in the region. However, we can say that the Russian fortifications have been greatly weakened as a result of the fighting that has intensified around Robotyne in recent weeks. There is also information about the breaking through in the same region at Lvivsky. According to local sources, Ukrainian counteroffensive operations are taking place in the direction of Lvivsky east of Zaporizhia. In outskirts of the region, it is possible to talk about the limited dominance of the Ukrainian army. Ukrainian troops are also advancing around Vuhledar, an important part of the Zaporizhia front line. According to the information we have obtained from local sources, we see that the Ukrainian army has started to increase its attack, especially in direction of Priotin, which is about 44 kilometers away from Vuhledar. According to the latest information from the region, we can claim that there has been a major reduction in the Russian army's ammunition. According to reports, the frequency of Russian artillery attacks in the region has greatly decreased. It seems that we may witness new advances of the Ukrainian troops on the Vuhledar front in coming days. The Zaporizhia front line is seen as the Ukrainian army's getaway to coastal cities of Mariupol and Berdyansk. Therefore, every victory on the front contributes to the liberation of Berdyansk and Mariupol. While the Ukrainian troops continue to advance in Zaporizhia front line, they are also softening the power of the Russian army by dealing heavy blows to Russian troops in Berdyansk and Mariupol. In recent days, the Russian army suffered a major loss in the vicinity of Berdyansk. Some units of the 36th Marine Brigade of the Ukrainian army carried out attacks. As a result of this attack, the Russian army lost a Ka-52 helicopter. Russian sources did not provide any information about the helicopter crew. However, many local sources report that the crew of the crashed helicopter lost their lives. When we look at the Donetsk front, we can see that there is a battle for territorial control in the Avdiivka direction. According to local sources, the Russian army, which has been trying to take Avdiivka for a long time, has launched a new attack on the region. However, the Ukrainian defense forces managed to repel these attacks of the Russian army. It is reported that the retreating Russian troops suffered heavy losses. After this attack, the Ukrainian army also mobilized and carried out a series of operations in direction of Mariinka. There was no radical change that we can show on the map. However, local sources say that the Russian army is facing heavy losses. Let's take a look at the latest situation in Bakhmut direction. According to local information from the region, fierce fighting on the flanks continues uninterruptedly. According to the latest information, Ukrainian artillery units are conducting large-scale attacks in the direction of Ozoryanivka, Kurdomovivka, and Klishchivka. It is reported that these attacks are targeting warehouses and supply routes belonging to the Russian army. In addition, according to many sources, the Ukrainian army is not carrying out the process with all the reserves in this region. Looking at the current situation, we can say that the Ukrainian troops are conducting a process of attrition operation in the south of Bakhmut. With the maximum attrition of the Russian army, we can see more large-scale operations of the Ukrainian troops. In the north of Bakhmut, it is possible to state that the general situation is unfavorable for the Russian army. As you know, the most important reason for the intense clashes around Berkhivka and Yahidny was the Russian army wanted to clear Ukrainian positions. However, the Russian army did not achieve any success in these cleansing operations. Nevertheless, the Russian staff, aware of the importance of these fronts, has been persistently leading Russian troops to attack Ukrainian positions in the direction of Berkhivka. Over the past few days, the Russian army has launched a series of attacks in direction of Berkhivka. However, all of these attacks failed. According to the reports of local sources, the Russian army retreated with great loss in these attacks. We see that the Bakhmut city center is also slowly starting to move. In recent days, Russian troops in the city center tried to launch an attack to realize the Ukrainian army's operational capability. However, the Ukrainian artillery, which recognized these attacks, immediately eliminated the danger. Ukrainian artillery is also conducting regular strikes to limit the mobility of the Russian elements inside the city center. What do you think? Do you think it is possible to see radical changes on the Zaporizhia front line? Will the Ukrainian army be able to reach Berdyansk? How do you assess the overall situation? Do you think the Ukrainian army is advancing fast? We value your opinion. Please share them with us.